Welcome to episode 6 of podcast. Welcome to episode 6 of Wrestling with Tim. On this episode, we are going to talk everything Clash at the Castle, what happened on Raw, and of course, we have to talk about the Wyatt Sicks. We'll get to that in a little bit. First off, I want to talk about the Clash at the Castle card. Me and Ian talked about what we predicted the results would be. You know what? Actually, let me see if I can pull up who was more correct. With me or Ian, because that's important. You know, if we're gonna give our predictions, you want to know who won. So Ian got 3 of the 5 matches correct, and well, so did I. So he missed the Chad Gable Sami Zayn match, and of course Alba Fire and Isla Dawn winning the tag team championships. I missed both of the same matches, so I can't throw any shade. I wish I could, but I can't. So Ian did a good job. I did a pretty good job. I'm better still. Anyway. All right, so opening up the show was Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Championship against AJ Styles in an I Quit match. I thought this was a really good match. I loved just the craziness of it, right? Like, you could just do anything. I love the asking everybody, do you quit? And no, screw you, Cody, and just all those things. I love the ending, how Cody has him handcuffed. He picks up the stairs. He goes, I quit. And then, of course, he still hits him with the stairs because, you have to, right? I liked that. That made sense because you don't want to get smashed with those stairs. You could be seriously injured. Styles says he quits. Makes total sense. Good stuff. Yeah, no problem with Cody winning there. I think it was the right call. Mama Rhodes was kind of weird because she slapped AJ like 3 times. Like the first time she was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do this. And the second two, she was like, oh, that was fun. Let me do it again. So she just kind of went for it. I don't know how I feel about Mama Rhodes being slapping people, but whatever. It was all right. The next match that came up was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. This one I was not expecting. The match was kind of... there were spots where it just fell apart. Jade slipped off the rope. It was just kind of clunky. I do like how they finished it with, I think it was Isla Dawn getting the pin. She pushes Bianca Belair out of the ring, right? Or I'm sorry, she pushed Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill falls down and gets in the way of Bianca Belair trying to get in to break the pinfall. She could not do it. I thought that was really clever, and I feel like that might be something we lead to later down the line where maybe these two have a feud, Bianca and Jade. And I can see that being one of the causes. You cost us the tag titles. You were in my way. You wouldn't move. You wouldn't let me in. It was by accident, of course, but I like the way we can spin it. I think if anything, maybe Bianca goes heel. I think she could survive it. Though I like Jade kind of being... Actually, no, I think Jade. Jade could be a pretty cocky person. I could see it happening. And she can be upset that that they lost, but at the same time being responsible would be a hypocrite, and I think that might play better. Either way, the match wasn't that good, but it got the job done, so, whatever. They got cheered because they were in Scotland. And also, I just want to mention, as far as Alba Fire goes, Triple H mentioned in the press conference her winning had nothing to do with her mom recently passing in a car accident, but And you know what? Maybe he's right. I don't think he would lie about that. But at the same time, I hope the best for her, because that's just a rough situation, and I'm sure it's very unfortunate. So good luck to her and her family. You know, thoughts and prayers for sure. So, and also congratulations, champ. The next matchup was the Intercontinental title match. Sami Zayn defending against Chad Gable. Now, a lot of people, myself included, thought Chad Gable would win this match because he's Chad Gable and he's been killing it. You know, we'll get to Raw in a minute, but I thought this would be the moment, and then Otis would, you know, do whatever. No, not so much. Chad Gable lost. You know, by some interesting Chad Gable lost essentially because of, well, the Alpha Academy, which just upset him. Essentially, Otis just picked up Maxine and just bailed, and that distracted Chad long enough to get a haluva kick to the side of the face. Yeah, so it was a pretty good match. Definitely really, really cool. I think Chad Gable still doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. I think Sami Zayn lately has not gotten enough credit for how good he is. Like, he really killed it. These two, at some point, I'd love to see them running back, but I think we're moving toward Otis, maybe, because what happened. But we'll get to that in a second again. But yeah, good match. One of the better matches of the night. So, your next matchup was Bayley defending her WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven. To which Bayley retained her title. I feel like they put Bayley with people who, like, you know, she can. They think Bayley can pull a good match out of anybody, and to a certain extent she can. But I feel like her and Piper did not really have that good of chemistry, and it's not bad. I think they could have, you know, maybe they need to work together a little bit more. But other than that, I thought it was a fine match. And they made Piper Niven look good in her match with Bayley. Like me and Ian had spoken about a couple weeks ago, how we suspect that, or right before the pay-per-view, we talked about how we suspected that they were going to say she barely got past Piper, so now she can focus on Nia Jax, and that might be the case. So we shall see how that goes. But yeah, other than that, Bayley won. It was a pretty okay match, not too bad. And then we get to the main event. This was so good. Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre in Scotland. Not near Scotland, in it. Man, okay, so these two just beat the crap out of each other. But at one point, it looked like Damian Priest might have broke his leg, or, you know, almost landing on his head when he got his leg stuck in the ropes. And it was crazy for a moment. And I do like that if you go back and watch it, Drew McIntyre takes a second to go, what? And it seemed like they may have communicated, yeah, I'm good. And then he just starts kicking the crap out of him while he's hanging there. And then the announcers even covered, like, look, he can't win the match if I'm hanging like that. So that's why he had helped get him, which makes sense. Luckily, Damian Priest was not injured on this. It was crazy, but there was a point where the ref got hit by accident, jumped out of the way, got knocked down, and, you know, Drew hits the Claymore, and he's got Priest down 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6 seconds. And this was the best thing on this entire pay-per-view. He runs down, the referee's running down, he slides in. The shot is of Drew McIntyre covering Priest. And then you see behind the ref, and you see him go 1, 2, and he pulls his hand up and doesn't drop it down. And then the other camera shot picks up that it is CM Punk. Oh my God. It was so funny. It was so well shot that no one could tell that, it was CM Punk. All his tattoos were covered. It was really smart. Like, for me, I actually thought for a moment it might have been JD McDonough, coming out from the Judgment Day. But I look and I was like, oh, that's clever. And a lot of people suspected Punk might interfere. I wasn't certain. I was wrong, I admit. But Damian Priest did retain his title. It was just so good. So good. I loved that match. And since Damian Priest is not injured, the fact that he sold his ankle the whole time is the best. Also, I don't know if you've seen on the internet, McIntyre lost his crap in the crowd after. I love it. I love the reality to it, I imagine that's what I would do. I'd be very upset. But it all actually kind of makes sense, and I appreciate it. Better than the last time when he just lost and started singing with Tyson Fury. It was strange. But, yeah, I thought it was a good PLE. Not the best one they've done this year, but definitely not one of the, not a bad one. It was pretty good. Now let's talk about Raw. So what happened on Raw? Nothing, right? Drew McIntyre quit. He just can't deal with CM Punk and all these things. Then, let's just skip to the big thing. So at the end of the show, I was confused because I'm like, okay, the Wyatt Sicks is supposed to debut today. So I watched the whole show, and I thought maybe the 9 o'clock hour or the 10 o'clock hour. No. I'm like, dude, where is this? I'm like, I started thinking once I got to the main event, I'm like, okay, so they're going to jump somebody. They're going to jump like Jey Uso or something. It's going to happen, right? And it didn't happen. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing? So all of a sudden that you hear the lights go out, it fades, and you see the door. And I was like, okay, here we go. This is it. Now, at first, I was a little disappointed they didn't jump anybody. I wanted them to, assault somebody. When Sami Zayn came out, I'm like, oh, this is where they're going to debut. They're going to jump this man. No. I was like, oh, my gosh. They kept giving me these little moments where my brain would go, oh, it's going to be against him. It's going to be him. Even when Drew was walking backstage, that's when they flashed the, the Wyatt Sicks looking logo thing. I was like, okay, well, so they're going to get Drew. Nope, Drew quit. Okay, he's gone. So we get to the end. And we see this door show up. And then the door opens. And in the distance you see a woman crawling through the door. It turns out to be Nikki Cross, but it is creepy imagery. She points the cameraman back to the back of the stage. Backstage. Now we saw Gorilla earlier with Drew McIntyre. Looked normal, whatever. So we have a reference point. They go back there and it is destroyed. There's all the lights are flickering. There's sparks flying. You see this Eric Rowan bunny. You see what I assume was Dexter Lumis in this crazy bird-looking mask. I assume that's Mercy the Buzzard, and they go through the whole thing. At the very, very end, then you see the pig. I assume that's Joe Gacy. And then you see Uncle Howdy. And also you see a victimized Chad Gable. Blood coming out the side of his face, just unconscious. And, I mean, there's bodies everywhere. There's bodies and there's smoke, and it's so cool. And they slowly make their way out. And as they get to the outside, the crowd is just erupting. It's going crazy. They walk over, pick up the lantern, say, "We're here," cut to black. It seemed so brutal and so crazy, but it was dope. I sent it to my wife the next day. She doesn't stay awake for Raw. I sent it to her, and she texted me back the next morning. She goes, "That was so epic." And I wasn't sure if that was the right word, but I think she's right. It was crazy. It was just epic. I think epic is probably the right word. Just epic. So, the internet has exploded with a bunch of people, with a bunch of responses, with a bunch of ideas and thoughts about it, and just it's crazy, it's nuts, all these things, and they're all right. It was wild. I'm very excited to see what they do on SmackDown. So I'm recording this Friday afternoon before SmackDown. So I guess we'll give you a SmackDown rundown real quick. On SmackDown, we're supposed to get CM Punk. We'll be announcing, hopefully, if he is cleared to wrestle, which is funny because Drew McIntyre's gone. And he's a Raw superstar, but whatever. So CM Punk will be on SmackDown. The Money in the Bank qualifiers will start on SmackDown as well, so we'll get all that. Hopefully we'll get an update on the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes. That's the other thing. After the Cody Rhodes match at the PLE, he got jumped by the Bloodline, and Randy Orton and KO came out to help him. So we'll see how that goes. But what I'm really interested in is, do they acknowledge what happened with the Wyatt Sicks on SmackDown? I know it happened on Raw, but I feel like something that crazy, maybe that happens on SmackDown too. Maybe they jump CM Punk or something. Who knows? But you got to do something, right? You got to at least acknowledge it. That's just crazy. So, SmackDown tonight at 8 o'clock. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. WWE has just been on a roll. Like, there is, all this year, Vince leaves. It's been the best thing for this company. It's just been crazy good, crazy consistent, and now we have crazy people with crazy storylines. But yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what we do with the Wyatt Sicks. I can't wait to see where Drew McIntyre and CM Punk end up. I assume that'll be a SummerSlam match. And since Money in the Bank is in the way, I assume maybe one of them, maybe Drew will be gone till Money in the Bank. Maybe CM Punk enters Money in the Bank, and then Drew costs him that, and that's when they go to SummerSlam. Who knows? All I know is we're going on a ride, and I'm for it. I'm all for it. Can't wait. It's been so much fun. Also, recording the show has been a lot of fun. I don't know how many people are listening. There's not many, and that's fine. But if you do like the show and you have enjoyed my conversations with myself or with Ian, definitely share it with your friends. I'm also about to start a whole new thing where I try to convert people who are not wrestling fans and make them wrestling fans by making them watch some of the craziest matches I can find. So the first one that will be the Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell. I will have someone watching it, and you can watch along. I'll tell you when to start, when to stop, if we do stop. And that's going to be fun. I really am going to enjoy that. So, and maybe at minimum I can, convert a friend to wrestling. So, yeah. But anyway, this has just been a quick update for Raw, preview for SmackDown, and the PLE. Let me know what you think, what you want me to cover, and what you want. What other matches you think we should have my friend watch. So we already have quite an extensive list, but if the match you suggest is like one of the ones I gotta go, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? I'll definitely add it to the list. So hit me up on Twitter at @TimPlaysDrums and at Instagram at I'llBeTim. And that's all you gotta do. Message me on those, and I'll get back to you. Hopefully we can figure out what other matches can make this man squirm. So, all right. With that said, everybody, have a good night and enjoy SmackDown.